Now, ministers are being urged to hold talks to avoid problems with the shipping of goods across borders after Brexit. The Road Haulage Association and the logistics industry leaders have written to Michael Gove, warning the supply chain faces severe disruption from the 1st of January. They're concerned about slow progress on new customs IT systems and border infrastructure at UK ports that they say is needed before the transition period comes to an end. Well, the chief executive of the Road Haulage Association, Richard Burnett, joins me now. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Burnett. Thank you for waiting for us there. Your warning of severe disruption after the 1st of January. What does that look like?
That's right. Well, look, before we get into that disruption, let's just talk about the timeframes. We've got 84 working days to prepare for transition. And the big issue that we face, yes, we've got IT systems issues and we've got infrastructure issues, but we've also got an enormous shortage of customs agents. We've got to do something like 220 million additional customs declarations on top of the 50 million that we do for the rest of the world already. And we need another 50,000 customs agents in order to do that. Now, with 84 working days to go to actually recruit that number of people, train that number of people, and actually onboard customers, that means we've got an impossible task to be able to, prepare and be ready by the end of the year. So what does that mean? It actually means that we're going to have traders that are not going to be able to send a product to Europe. It means that if hauliers do take product and they don't have the correct paperwork, they will be stopped and they will be fined. In Kent, we could see queues, we could see chaos at the border. So we're urging government, to listen to the detail of what we're talking about here. We're urging them to really listen. They haven't listened probably for the last 3 years, and certainly over the last 6 weeks as we're working with them. We've got significant gaps that still need to be resolved, and we're deeply concerned, and that's why we've written to Michael Gove, Grant Schapps, and Rishi Sunak.
Well, the government will say that they have spent £750 million and that they outlined a lot of certainly the physical infrastructure back in July.
Well, we're still waiting to see and understand the detail of really what that looks like, where that physical infrastructure is going to be. But, the point is, it doesn't matter how much money they're quoting. We are simply not prepared. We are simply not ready. And, the onboarding process to get customers that want to trade with Europe to be able to, upload their data into systems, to work with customs agents and be able to dispatch their products. If we don't have those people there, we simply will not be able to trade. It's as simple as that.
And I presume you haven't had a response to your letter yet?
No response yet, but I was on the radio this morning. I understand that Grant Schapps was on. After myself this morning, he committed and agreed to arranging that roundtable discussion with the logistics industry. But we don't want to just have another meeting. We want real discussion. We want them to listen. And we want to make sure that there's a clear action plan to unblock these blockages. State aid, the money that the government has committed, the 50 million to try and recruit more customs agents, isn't enough between now and the year end. But it's also capped by a state aid limit, which means that only individual companies can actually draw down £180,000 per company, which would only employ 22 people. And we have 500 companies that are specialists in this area at the moment. So it's not going to give us anywhere near the numbers that are required to really get this motoring and get this issue supported.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned state aid there. I know it's one of the sticking points of the current negotiations. Do you sense, though, that this is a government that understands the detail?
No. I don't think they understand the detail. We talk about that detail constantly. We raise these issues, have raised it as an industry. We've been in lots of meetings with the Border Delivery Group, with HMRC, with DFT, and we talk about the practical issues from an operational perspective. And it just seems to get lost, So we don't get the right responses, we don't get the right answers back, and that's why, again, we're trying to escalate this to really get this into the cabinet for the cabinet to understand the severity of the problem.
And what you're saying and what you're describing that you think is going to happen is all predicated on there being some kind of agreement, isn't there? What if there's no deal?
Well, look, deal or no deal, we're still going to have to put these processes in place. So we've still got to adapt. We still need to make sure that we've got these procedures ready for the 1st of January. The EU have made it very clear that they will be putting full processes in place. We've taken a slightly more relaxed approach in terms of EU into the UK, but we have to be prepared and ready, and it doesn't really alter the position in terms of where we sit today.